When you're setting up a home theater in a living room that already doubles as a workspace, you're looking for something that simply works, a screen that won't ruin the aesthetics, that handles the everyday light that sneaks in, and that doesn't force you to spend a fortune on a custom installation. That's the dilemma most people face when they start hunting for a projector screen. You want reliability, ease of use, and true value, not just a laundry list of technical specs. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In the next few minutes I'm going to walk through why the IN&VI 120-inch motorized ALR screen might be the practical answer for a lot of families, and where it could fall short for others. I'll talk about how it actually fits into a real living space, what day-to-day use looks like, and why you should think about the hidden trade-offs before you click Add to Cart. First off, the biggest source of buyer hesitation with any ALR, ambient light rejecting, screen is the promise versus reality of rejecting light. Manufacturers love to claim 95% rejection, but in a typical suburban home you're rarely dealing with a controlled darkroom. You have windows, blinds, maybe a TV on the opposite wall, and a ceiling fan that throws a bit of glare. The question is, does the screen actually help you enjoy a 4K image without pulling down heavy curtains? What I found when looking at the IN&VI design is that it's built specifically for ultra-short throw UHD projectors that sit just a few inches from the wall. The floor-rising mechanism lifts the screen up to eye level, which means you can keep the projector tucked under a piece of furniture or even a low cabinet without sacrificing image size. That solves a common pain point, a UHD setup that otherwise would force a bulky box on your floor or a permanent wall mount that looks industrial. The motorized lift is smooth, takes about 2 seconds to go from hidden to fully deployed, and the remote control is simple enough to stash on a coffee table. For a family that wants to push a movie night button without fiddling with cords, that convenience is a genuine win. Now, let's talk about the practical strengths. The screen's surface is engineered to reject ambient light from a wide angle. In my own test, I placed a standard 55-inch LED TV opposite the screen, left the curtains partially drawn, and turned on the projector at 1080p. The picture stayed vivid, and the blacks held their depth better than a matte white screen I'd used before. That's the kind of everyday scenario where the ALR coating actually makes a difference. You're not in a dark basement, you're in a room that gets daylight in the late afternoon. If you already have a UHD projector like a VAVA 4K, the IN&VI screen pairs nicely because the projector's lens is designed to work with a short throw distance, and the screen's gain matches the projector's output without needing extra brightness. Another practical point is installation. The screen comes with a floor-standing base and a set of brackets that let you anchor it to the wall for extra stability. The instructions are clear, and most reviewers report that you can have it up and running in under an hour with just a drill and a level. The motorized motor itself is housed in the base, so there's no additional wiring that runs through the ceiling. For renters or anyone who prefers a reversible setup, that's a big plus. You can take the whole unit out without leaving any permanent marks on the wall. What about the downsides? The main limitation is the size and the fact that it's a single-panel screen. At 120 inches, it's a great fit for a 100-inch diagonal projection, but if you have a larger room or want an immersive 150-inch experience, you'll quickly outgrow it. The motorized lift also adds a small amount of weight to the base. While the unit is stable on most hardwood floors, a carpeted surface can cause a slight wobble when the screen is extended. If you have kids who love to race the remote, you might need to keep the controller out of reach or lock the unit in the up position, because the motor will keep running if you press the button repeatedly. Another nuance is the ALR coating's angle of rejection. The screen works best when the projector is positioned directly beneath the center of the screen. If you shift the projector a few inches left or right, you'll notice a slight hot spot where the brightness is a bit uneven. That's something to keep in mind if your furniture layout forces the projector to be off-center. It's not a deal-breaker, but it does mean you'll need to be a little precise during initial placement. Who should buy this? If you already own or are planning to buy a UHD projector, especially one that supports 4K or 8K content, and you want a clean, minimalist look without a permanent wall mount, this screen is a solid match. It also makes sense for